So delighted to welcome this week somebody I've known for a very long time. And you are looking so happy.
Thank you.
Marisha Wallace, welcome at last.
You know what? I have done interviews with you for so long. feel like you've seen me through every iteration of my journry here.
It's just been incredible.
Love being on the show with you.
Oh, well, it's just...
You know the whole thing.
I do. Well,
you know the whole story.
From when you landed here. I mean, I remember talking to you when you were in... So you did Dreamgirls?
Yes.
So I spoke to you when you did Dreamgirls, and then you were put in permanently because you came in and then you were put in when Amber left. So I talked to you then. Then Waitress I didn't.
No.
You loved doing
But you
Waitress.
did talk to me during my Christmas album that I made.
Your Christmas album.
That was random.
And Tomorrow.
And Tomorrow.
You sung that live.
I sung that. And I think I sang one of my Christmas songs on your
radio
you
did,
show.
on the radio show.
You've been just an amazing supporter.
Well, I love you.
The whole time.
And also, I cried when you were in Big Brother.
Did you?
Because I was just... It makes me sound like an aunt.
No, I'm about to cry.
No, I just felt so proud. And what was so lovely is the Marisha that I've now known for all these years over all these shows and albums and things. I thought, now everyone's getting to see you.
Yeah.
Because that was you.
Yeah.
That really was you.
That's what I loved about that whole experience. It was like what the audience saw was how my friends see me.
Yeah.
That's the Marisha that you guys know. So that was the best thing because I was like, I wasn't portrayed in any other way than authentically myself. But
you always said, you know what, you have always been. So the very first time that I interviewed you and you were doing Dreamgirls and you kept saying, this is the dream. This is the dream. Because it wasn't like you were new to it because you'd done it in the States.
Yeah,
Am I right? You started as gospel?
So I started as a church singer.
Yeah.
So like my whole family's musical. We sang at the church that my dad built down the street that my grandparents were the pastor of. My mom was the choir director. My dad played guitar. My brother played the drums and the piano. My sister played the drums. I was the singer. I was not an instrument person. I did play trumpet, but no one wanted that in the choir. So I was the singer. And yeah, so I grew up in music and I just had some really incredible teachers in high school who were like, you're not quite like the other kids. I think you should think about doing this professionally. And this was even when I was in high school. And I had a teacher who took me to my first Broadway show. And she was like, we went to see Disney's Aida, and it was on tour. And it had a Black woman as the lead. It was actually Nina Simone's daughter, which was actually crazy. And when I saw her being exalted and lifted up, and she was like the center of the narrative, and she was falling in love on stage, and my teacher goes, that's you. You need to do that.
Goosebumps.
That's what she said.
See, isn't it amazing how many people that I've interviewed who there's a person, a teacher, an aunt, a friend, whatever, that's a person that goes, that could be you. And then suddenly makes that light bulb, you, oh yeah, I can do it.
Yeah, because at the time, I didn't think it was even possible, especially where I come from. I come from a really small farm town in North Carolina. We raised hogs. That was like a thing. We were pig farmers. And everyone had talent, but no one knew how to get it out of that small town because we were poor and we didn't have access and we don't have a lot of people. My sister was probably the first one to graduate from college in my family. My mom dropped out of school when she was in middle school. So it's crazy that I've made it this far coming from where I come from.
It is amazing. Your story is incredible.
Yeah.
And yet what's so interesting is the shows that you've done sort of echo your life story.
Every time. It's so weird. Like when I get to a certain point in my life, a show comes along that's like right fitting for the time. It's so crazy.
So Dreamgirls the fit was perfect, wasn't it?
Absolutely perfect. And when I got that role, I was going through some of the worst times in my life in New York. I was married at the time. I was young. I was in New York with my ex-husband, and I was carrying us because he was so unwell. And I was just carrying everything. I was working 12 hours a day. I was doing all the workshops of new musicals and in the Broadway show at the same time. And I remember 2 weeks before I got the call to come here, I was on my knees praying. And I never get on my knees to pray. I usually just pray in my bed or whatever. And I remember my ex-husband was like, what are you doing on the ground? I was like, I'm praying. I was praying to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
I was like, God, if you get me out of this, I'm going to run for my life and I'm going to just focus on this and be the best at this. And then I got the call a couple weeks later.
That's what I said about looking at you now to how I first met you. I can see happy.
Yeah.
Because you admitted, I remember you saying to me off air, you said, I've just come through it and I just don't know how. And I said, you can do this. You can. I remember that. But and also then you were so honest with everybody about what you've been through and also your weight loss.
Yeah.
Because you were beating yourself up about that as well.
Yeah.
There was a lot of self-hatred, which you talk about.
You never know how you're self-medicating your trauma. And I self-medicated with food. I self-medicated with the loneliness that I felt. Because even coming here was amazing, but still it had its challenges, You
were on your own.
I was on my own. And I feel like I've been on my own since I've been about 17. Because I left home when I was about 17 and went to college. And then straight from college to New York. And I've been on my own a lot. And I never realized that's how I coped with loneliness, with emotions. So I was an emotional eater. And then I was like, there's got to be a better way. And then in the pandemic, I had gotten to the highest weight I've ever been in my life because I didn't have the shows to kind of mitigate it. And I was like, there's got to be something better than this. I was like...
There's a song like that.
Yeah,
there's got to be something better than this.
That does. And I decided to focus on my health. And in focusing on my health, it gave me the discipline to focus on my career. So then my career started taking off because I was like, wait. So, because if you change the things inside of you, things start to change around you. I think people don't really know that. Like, that's where the change starts inside.
That's interesting because I think a lot of people, they'll think, oh, well, she wanted to lose weight to look.
No.
It wasn't. This was about the inside, your head and the inside.
It starts with 5 pounds. It starts with 10 pounds. But then it ends up being, no, I want to be the strongest person in the room, physically, mentally, spiritually, the strongest that I can be. And so that's when I started heavy lifting. And I was like, man, if I can lift this like 125 kilo.
125 kilo?
Yeah, it's 135.
Sorry, you what?
Hip thrust. 135.
Wow.
I put it on the bar. But when I lift that, it's like some kind of crazy thing to my mind as well. Because I'm like, if I can do that, then I definitely can book that part. And I can go tackle that. And I can do that. Because if I can lift that weight, I can lift this mental weight that I have. Like, which...
But you've been an inspiration for a lot of people.
Thank you.
No, you have. I mean, if you read any of the comments underneath, it's thank you for doing this because I needed that. I needed to hear it. And I think there's so much pressure about how you look these days on social media, which I can't bear.
And you know what? There's like, what's right for you is not always right for everyone else. Like, everybody's goals for their bodies are different. And I'm tired of people policing other people on how they should look or feel. It's how you feel. If you're happy with how you look, whatever size you are, great. If you're not happy with that and you want to change it, change it.
But do it in the healthy way.
Do it a healthy way.
Very healthy about it.
I've really worked, but what I realized is that it takes time and it takes work. There's no quick fixes. There's no get slim in 5 days.
Actually, there are these days, there are some things you can do, but I don't know if that really is the answer.
Well, but then even that still takes work because then you still have to change your habits and then you still have to eat right and because then the weight will come back. So either way, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Either way.
You're going to grow.
You're going to have to figure it out either way. But I think it's very important to just be healthy because there's so many people in my family with diabetes and with hypertension. Like one of my aunts is severely obese and can't walk.
Oh.
So even my mom, I've gotten her into taking care of herself
how wonderful.
better. And she looks great and she's been feeling great. And
I've seen her on your Instagram.
She's amazing.
What you've done for your mum, man, that makes me cry. The house.
I went back.
Did you? Yes.
Yeah, I went back and I got to actually live in the house because the last time I was there was no furniture. So
we should explain. So you got your mum.
I bought my mom a house in North Carolina. And like I was telling you, we grew up on this farm. And the house that we lived in was like a converted mobile home. So it was a mobile home that they had bricked up. So she never had a house that was proper So I brought her a proper home with a nice kitchen, and they have chickens in the back. And she's just so. This is the happiest I've ever seen my mom in my whole life. I was talking to her the other night, and she was just crying because she was like, "I've never been this happy. Your niece has never been this." Because my niece lives with her as well. My niece has never had her own room. Like, I don't think people realize how important it is to have your own space as a person. Like, now she has her own space. She got this amazing job. Because I was like, why couldn't you do it before? She was like, I didn't have the space. Like, I didn't feel good about myself because I didn't have my own space. I was like, wow. So just even that has changed. I never thought buying a little house would change like everything about the dynamics of my family and how important that is to generational wealth. As Black people who grew up in the South, a lot of people never owned a house, never had access to that. But I would have friends because I grew up. It was weird because in my area, it was a poor area, but then around us were a lot of affluent, like doctors, and I had a lot of friends who were rich. And I was like, well, how do they have all this and I can't have that? You know what I mean? So I was like, how can I bring generational wealth to my family? And it's to buy property. That's how you can do it. Because now that house can be passed down, and then we'll get another house, and then they can pass it to their friends and I mean to their family, and it's great.
How you hopefully not to their friends. You mean to their
To
family?
their family,
Yeah.
to their family.
So for you, I mean that was a huge thing, and you put it on your socials. Like I said, you're very honest about a lot of things. Let's go to the tomorrow. Funnily enough, when you brought that out, I remember Michael Ball was playing it all the time on Radio 2, and I was playing it on the BBC as well, on BBC London and on BBC Sounds. But it hit a note because suddenly people were going, this song, the way you did that, it was incredible. I remember us speaking on the phone, and we did something for Hello magazine together.
Yeah.
And it was extraordinary, that song then.
The whole story of that song is extraordinary because before the pandemic happened, so this past year in February, my former manager, Bob's, passed away. And he was like my biggest advocate. I can't talk about him. Makes me cry.
Yeah, of course.
But he always believed in me. And so when I told him about this idea, I was like, I have this idea where I want to do like a gospel version of Tomorrow from Annie. And he was like, oh, okay. And he was like, well, you know what? I'm going to introduce you to Steve Anderson. He's Kylie Minogue's producer. I think you would like this. And then we met in my dressing room at Waitress. This is before the pandemic, 2019. And I met and I talked to him about it. And he was like, oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds okay, cool. And then the pandemic happens. And he calls me and he goes, remember you had the idea about the gospel version of Annie, the Tomorrow? I think we should do it. And I was like, but everything's closed down. And he was like, just record it in your house. And I was like, okay. So I got a mic off Amazon and I like plugged it into my laptop. He sent me the track and I just recorded it in the house. And it was
incredible.
And that's the song that you heard was the song. And it was the darkest part of the pandemic. Like we didn't know what was going on. And I was singing this in my house and like, I sent it back to him and he was like, whoa, okay, we have something here.
Just sing a little bit. No.
The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. And then it took on his whole life. It was crazy. And then I actually went to Decca Records because I had been courting them, trying to get a deal. And I sent it to them and I was like, I have this amazing song. You have to help me. And they were like, amazing. But we have so many other charity singles that we're working on. And I was like, okay. And then Steve says, release it yourself. And I was like, what? He's like, release it yourself. You already know how to release an album. Just release it yourself. So I released it myself. I enlisted all my friends, all my celebrity friends I knew had a big following on Instagram. I was like, can you help me make a lyric video? And I sent them. I got this one girl who's a fan who was a good calligraphist to make the lyrics. And each person held up a lyric. I said, just hold up this lyric and film yourself for 10 seconds and send it to me. And everyone did it. Leslie Odom Jr. from Hamilton, the original Aaron Burr. Oh my God. Like we had Kat McPhee, We had literacy. We had, oh my God, we had nurses and we had doctors and we had
everybody.
Kids and we had families and we had, everyone did it. And then I put the video out. I made the video myself, edited it myself, and put it out.
Your work ethic is incredible.
I still can't believe I did that.
No, you did. No, you can believe it.
I can't believe I did. And then I put it out and it went viral. The video went viral.
It was amazing.
And then Michael Ball caught wind because we gave it to Steve Softly, who's his producer. And I think he gets to play 2 songs. And he was like, I'm going to play the song because it's good. And then the emails kept coming in. Play that song again. Play that song again. Who's playing that song? It was
amazing.
And that was and then it became a whole thing. And Decca came back and gave me a record deal.
Yeah, I was going to say. So then Decca go knocking at your door. Hi, Marisha, remember us?
Remember us? Yeah.
So right now, you are in Panto.
Yes.
In the Palladium, excuse me. 3 nights. I mean, you've been open a little while.
Okay.
How is Panto? Oh, no, it's not. Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, yes, it is. He's behind me.
Panto is wonderful.
Oh,
It's
my
so
gosh.
British.
It's
Although you're a citizen.
I'm going to be a citizen this year.
You know
which
what?
Is so exciting.
Royal Variety Show singing the national anthem.
That was wild to me.
I mean, you're doing that. That comes out next week.
But like, I've never done like this. Is like okay.
You know Charles and Camilla. Sorry, I should call the King of the Queen. You know them.
I know them.
You did the D-Day.
Yeah, and then they came to Guys and Dolls.
They came to Guys, and did they come down on the ground and join in?
Well, I saw them 2 weeks later at Buckingham Palace because they invited me to the palace.
Lovely,
so I came to the palace, and they were like, and I saw Queen Camilla, and she was like, and Arlene was with me. She was like, "This is Adelaide from Guys and Dolls." And he goes, "Oh my God, it's Adelaide." And she goes, Charles, come meet Miss Adelaide. Come meet Miss Adelaide. And I was like, am I in
This is the Queen.
By the King and Queen? And he was like, oh my God, I hear you were incredible. That everyone loved that. Camilla can't stop talking about it. You were so incredible in it. And I was in that moment going, how did I get from the pig farm to here?
I love that.
It's crazy. But yeah, the Palladium is such an iconic venue anyway. But then to do something so very British and so for them to invite
Julian
me
Clary
in, I know,
as well.
and I'm the villain.
I love that.
Which I love.
I think it's fantastic. So the Royal Variety Show, you're going to do your own show.
Yes.
At the Delphi.
At the Delphi Theatre.
It's going to be massive.
March 11th. It's already sold really well, and we started selling it way before now. So, but still get tickets because I think it's just going to be an amazing celebration.
You're going to what's
everything?
What are you going to open with?
I'm doing loads of songs that people know me for, that people like from all the shows, like the big
Will you
numbers.
do?
And I'm telling you,
just a little bit now,
tomorrow,
tiny, a little bit.
And I am telling you, I'm not going.
Oh, now you see everybody's going to be buying tickets because they're going to go, I want more of that.
More. But
so you're going to be doing any Ado?
Ado Annie, some Adelaide, some of the new
stuff. A
stuff.
boyfriend could develop a cold.
A boyfriend
can we do it
can develop a cold.
You can spray it wherever you figure the strap to cock I like. You can give her a shot or whatever she's got, but it just won't work. Yay! Oh, I loved Guys and Dolls. It's a real shame that's coming off. I know. Yeah.
But I mean,
you
what
and
a
Danny
great run.
Mays. You and Danny.
We thought it was going to be 3 months.
I remember you telling me that. You told me that you were doing, excuse me, you told me that you were going in to do Guys and Dolls, and Danny told me he was doing it. And I remember speaking to you both, you went, oh, it's so nice, it's just a few months.
Yeah.
And then award-winning.
I mean, life-changing, though. Like, the amount.
Oh, do you think, is that for you life-changing?
Oh, like, everything before and after Guys and Dolls is like a different chapter, because Guys and Dolls brought me Big Brother. Guys and Dolls brought me all these celebrities from like all over finally saw me. They were like, where have you been? And I'm like, I've been here 20 years.
I've been doing this.
I've been doing this long enough. But like Hugh Jackman came. Oh my God, Catherine Zeta-Jones came. And I used to watch that Chicago movie every day.
You've never done Chicago?
No.
Would you do Chicago?
I would do Chicago.
Which one? Who'd you be?
It's hard. I think I'd be Roxy because I don't want to be doing the splits every night. I don't know if I want to be doing the splits. And that role is fun. So
It's a great show.
I mean, all the roles are good. Mama's good.
Oh, Mama's fantastic.
Velma's good. All of them are good. But yeah, so the amount of people who came, all the film and TV people, it just put me on the radar, put me on the map, even more than Oklahoma. Oklahoma was the start. Yeah. And they were like, ooh, who's that? And then Nick Heidner
I remember sitting next to somebody.
Yeah.
It was too name droppy, so I won't say who he is. Yeah. Massive movie star.
Tell me.
No, I'll tell you afterwards because it's too name droppy and I'm not going to do it.
Why is it too name droppy?
Because it's too embarrassing. And we were sitting next to each other, and at the end of it, he sort of held my arm and he went, Gaby, this is something incredible. This is incredible. There is a connection with that person, with the show you're about to do at the beginning of next year.
Well, there you go.
Rather bizarrely, there is an extraordinary connection. So you might put two and two together and work out who that person is.
And two together.
Yeah. Let's talk about this show that you're about to do.
Yeah.
So it's massive. You are going to be the first Black Sally Bowles.
It's
with Billy Porter.
I can't even believe you're saying that now.
It's just
like I can't believe you're saying that out loud.
So you and I, we messaged because Billy told me, and then I messaged you because I was just.
I know.
And I messaged you, and you just went, I can't believe that. I mean, it was as if your WhatsApp, I could hear your voice screaming back at me. Talk me through how this has all happened.
Well, I feel like after doing Ado Annie and doing Adelaide, I kind of made it like my mission to take roles that have never been seen through the lens of a Black woman and to do it and to just show what it could be. And because it changes everything when you change the lens. It's like when you put a filter on a photo, it just changes it. But I actually was like with a friend. I was with one of my best friends. And I asked him, I said, why has there never been a Black Sally Bowles? And he was like, there weren't that many Black people around during that time. There would have been no Black people at the Kit Kat Club. And I was like, wait, this was 1930s. This is the same 1930s of Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Josephine Baker, who actually did cabarets in Berlin. Like I saw one of her tour posters and it had London, New York, Berlin on it as the stops. And on top of that, but me as a Black person, I didn't even know for sure who was there and what and in what capacity Black history was in Nazi Germany. So then I went down a rabbit hole and I just started researching. And there was a book called Destined to Witness, and it was about Black history in Nazi Germany. But then I read about the Rhineland bastards, who were mixed race children of German soldiers and African people. And there were 50,000 Africans living in Berlin at the time before occupation. There were many artists who had moved from the United States, Black artists moved from the United States to Europe to find better lives because they were escaping racism in America. And then when they get to Germany and they get to Europe, they're like, wait, there's a whole new brand of racism. And then also a lot of performers, there were Black performers in the Kit Kat Club because that's where you could actually be accepted. Like, you may not be accepted on the street, but when it comes to talent and performing, Black people have always had the opportunity to be out front, and that way, even if you had to go out the back to use the toilet, you were always going to be able to be on stage because of the talent. So then I was like, okay, Sally Bowles, to me, is Josephine Baker, because Josephine Baker moved from St. Louis to France and became a fully French woman. She had a fully French persona that she created for herself. And I was like, well, why couldn't that be me? And that's kind of what I've done here as well in my own self. I came from America because I felt boxed in. I felt like I couldn't be the performer I wanted to be. And then I came here and I found all the success. And so I feel like Sally, in that way. And this is how we can use our art to spread a light on a time period and on a people that we didn't know about, that we can kind of spread a light on Black history in Nazi Germany. And I was like, I didn't even know there were so many Black people who were sterilized so that they couldn't have babies.
Just shocking.
In Mein Kampf, a Hitler's biography, he talks about the Rhineland bastards, and he uses it as a ploy to get German people to accept extermination because he was like, well, see, the Jews are trying to defile the race by having babies with black people. Who I didn't even know that. I had no idea.
The whole thing. What's so interesting is that cabaret, people go along. If if you've never seen cabaret, go. I mean, I've now seen the Kit Kat Club version. I think I've seen it 5 times.
Yeah.
And I love the show. So as a kid, I thought, what great songs. And I learned every song and it was great. And then you go along and there is a moment in the show, I'm not giving anything away, where you find out that someone's a Nazi and there's the swastika, and it's chilling. It's utterly chilling the way they do it. And it's a reminder. And then you look at the songs again as an adult, you listen to the words of the songs and you just think, whoa, and the story. And you taking on this role with that, now knowing all that you've taught us. And Billy as well. You and Billy together. And everything that he's been through.
And everything he's been through and everything we've been through as performers, trying to escape the racism just to perform, just to do your art. But
also he's gone through all the stuff with his sexuality and how people perceive him and how people perceive you.
Yeah.
It's going to bring it onto another level.
It just raises the stakes.
Yeah.
Because then now for us to survive is even more important.
Do you know how loudly I am going to scream on your opening night? No, I'm being serious. I will, but between the two of you, I will be, it's going to be insane.
When we studied the Holocaust in school, it would say 6 million Jews were killed in the concentration camps, and there would be a little sentence that would say, and also blacks, queers, disabled people.
And socialists.
And communists. And I was like, who are those people?
I was
like, I want to meet those people.
The families of those people, yeah.
Like, I want to know who those people were. And I think doing this is going to open up so much conversation, and people are just going to be like, let's talk about that. Let's get to research that. And that's what art should do. I think that's what I should do.
And that's what you do. And you do put that out there. And you know what the other thing about you is? That you've never denied that you want, and I'm going to use fame in air quotes, okay? That you want I hate using the word fame and celebrity, because it's not what you want. Success, you want people to know that you can do what you know you can do.
Yeah.
And now people know it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think it's the platform. It's like, because I see, that's reason why I went on Big Brother, because I was like, we need to shine a light on the people who are doing this kind of work and who are in the business and doing the business.
Our lovely friend Hannah Waddingham, who's I've known Hannah 2,000 years. When she was a hoofer, she was there in the West End doing the work, and she was doing it, and now she's out there and people go, oh, musical theatre.
Yeah.
But you can do it all. It doesn't mean just because you do musical theatre that you can't have an album, that you can't act in a straight play, that you can't be in a movie.
Yeah.
You can.
You can
it's
do
the hardest thing.
We are the hardest working people in show business, I think, because it's every single night. It's nonstop. It's if you have a cold, if you're sick, you got to take care of your family. You just do it.
The show must go on.
The show must go on. And there's no frills. No one's doing your makeup. No one's doing your hair. Like, you have to just show up and do it. And I think shining the light on that. When I got nominated for the Olivier in the Big Brother house, there were so many people who didn't even know what the Olivier Awards were.
Yeah.
And to me, that sounded like blasphemous. I was like, how do you not know what this is? But it exposed to so many people who can't come down for a West End show, a Broadway show. It exposed them to the fact that they could have this life. They could be actors, or they could even come see a show. Like, you know what I mean?
Do you know, it's interesting. The one thing that I get on my high horse about, and I talk about this every week on my Sunday show, is the price of tickets. And I think what the National Theatre have done doing NT Live is fantastic. And I think a lot of shows need to be brought to the regions. I love regional theatre.
It's amazing.
Touring theatre, fringe theatre. We need to all support it. Back to Panto.
Yeah.
Panto is what keeps a lot of regional theatres going.
I think Panto keeps theatre alive. Yeah. Period. Because some of what I've learned by working on this Panto is that some people, this is their first introduction to theatre.
Yeah.
At all.
But kids come
like kids, because they start so young, and they're like, every year they're going to theater. We don't even have this tradition in America.
Well, now you're not American. Now I'm
British.
both. Yeah, you're dual nationality.
I'm dual now. So, yeah, so to be able to, that's why your theater here is so strong, because I think Panto gets people already like in the tradition of going to the theater from, a young age. So I'm excited to do Panto. I think it's great.
I think it's fantastic that you're doing it. So Panto, Adelphi Theatre, and in between that, you're going to be Sally. Oh my word! The Royal Variety Show. You'll see Camilla and Charles. They'll be in the box. They'll go, Marisha.
I think I'll get to do the line. So I did it in 2020.
You've done it before,
but it was the COVID year.
COVID.
Do you know what was in the seats in the audience? Flat screen televisions with people on Zoom. I'll never forget it. It was hundreds of flat screen TVs.
Oh my word.
And I performed tomorrow to flat screen TVs.
That is insane.
And
what a weird
Royals
time.
were there. It was in Blackpool and it was desolate. And so this time I get the full experience.
Oh, it's going to be the full thing.
So I can go down the line and shake the hands. And
there might be somebody else there, but I'm not allowed to talk about it until everybody sees it.
Oh.
I wonder what I'm on. You never know. I can't say. But it's very exciting. And the recording was fantastic fun. That's all I'm saying. So this is the last thing I want to talk to you about, please.
Yes.
Him.
Oh, my partner.
It's just so lovely to see you properly. Look at your smile. You just look at that smile.
You know what? It's been my love life has been so, you know what they say, when your career is doing well, your love life goes to crap. So my love life has been crap a lot. So it's finally nice to find someone who supports me and what I'm doing and isn't intimidated by me. Because when you're a powerful woman and you are career driven, a lot of men can't take that. So it's nice to have someone who just is like, keep going. The higher you fly is better.
He's your cheerleader.
He's a coach. I feel like he's my coach.
Okay.
Yeah, because he supports me in every way. Like he runs lines with me.
That's lovely.
He runs lines with me. He makes sure I'm taking care of myself. I remember D-Day, I had to go back to Guys and Dolls randomly because they had no Adelaides. So I ran and did that and got in the car and went to the D-Day celebration rehearsal. But when you go back to a show, I feel like I was hit by a truck. And I was like, oh my God, I have to dance again. And my feet and my legs were dead. And he has he's also a physio too. So he
That's
got
useful.
my legs back together.
So useful.
I was like, I couldn't even walk before and he got me back together. But just little things like that.
So he gets you back together physically, mentally, and in your heart.
Yeah.
He's healed your heart as well.
Yeah, because, it's so hard to love again after being betrayed and going through so many things. And even with him, I've kind of been be patient with me because it takes me a while to break down the wall that I have.
And you've broken it down?
Yeah, I'm breaking it down every day.
I've got goosebumps. Marisha, do you know what? You're flying. Keep flying.
Yeah.
Keep flying and enjoying it and enjoying the ride. And I couldn't feel prouder, like some crazy aunt.
Well, you know what? You've been here every step of the way. And I think it took the reason why I think I have flown so high is because of people like you.
That's very sweet. But you've got it. You've got it.
But you can't do it without support. You can't get to those heights without people being like, let me give you a hand. Let me give you a hand. Let me just one hand at a time, just taking me up. And it's it's great.
There's something else I think you should do, which we'll talk about off air.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Marisha Wallace.
Thank you.